Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 22nd of January. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Guys, in the today's video, we will be taking up the entire analysis of the Hindu newspaper and we will also see if there are good articles in the Indian Express explained section and the PDF of the explainer video, fine, that we will be using here, the explainer PDF, you can download from our Telegram channel. The link for Telegram channel has been given in the description box. You can join the Telegram channel also. Now, first of all, before moving into the discussion, let's see the relevant articles so that you can understand that which articles are important for our examination and which articles are not important. First of all, let's have a look on the Indian Express explained section. So, the first article here, it is talking about the flame and an icon. Now guys, what had happened? Basically, the Amar Jawan Jyoti, fine, which is at the India Gate, it has been moved and it has merged with the National War Memorial. Is it clear? So it has been merged with the National War Memorial. Okay, so if you have visited the India Gate, you might have seen the Amar Jawan Jyoti that was there. Now, this particular thing has become a political controversy. It has been said that it is a kind of a disrespect that has been given to the soldiers because that Amar Jawan Jyoti was lit in the remembrance of the soldiers. So this is something which is going on. However, guys, this particular thing is not at all important for your UPSC examination. So please avoid it. Don't go into this particular line. Certain things I would tell you here only, fine, which are little bit you should know, but not that much important. Fine. So when we talk about the Amar Jawan Jyoti, the eternal flame that was lighting onto India Gate, it was established in 1972 after the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War that was fought. Is it clear? Now, basically, when we talk about India Gate, it basically it was all earlier called as All India War Memorial. It was designed by Edwin Lutyens and was inaugurated in 1931 by the then Viceroy. Is it clear? Lord Irwin. So this is certain things which is about it. However, you don't need to go beyond this particular thing. Fine, not at all important. Then further moving on, after that, the strategic significance of a bridge that China is building on the Pangong. So see, certain things I want to tell you very clearly. See, the China is constructing a bridge onto the Pangong. So only one implication is there, that this is a way by which the China is increasing its might. They want to increase their presence into the region as a whole. Fine. So this is just an attempt to increase the power so that if there is a war, they can bring forward the troops. Apart from this two line concept, nothing is important into this particular line, and question in the mains will not be asked that okay, tell us about that bridge. Fine, because the thematic questions are asked. So you need to understand that what is the requirement of UPSC. So into this particular line, now hundreds of such developments will be coming over 1 year. Fine. So please don't sweat over such kind of things. Not at all important for our examination. Then further moving on. Now this is the page number 1 of the Hindu, and here again the same article, that the Amar Jawan Jyoti now merged with the War Memorial Flame. Okay. So this particular thing is going on. Now both of, I already told you little brief history about this. Now both the parties, political factions, they are giving their own justifications into this particular line. Fine. Then further moving on after that, basically political news etc has been given. People can soon invest in infrastructure projects. Fine. The SOBI, basically the union government is awaiting the approach of the SEBI so that the citizen can invest into the 1 lakh crore rupees infrastructure projects that are now being built. Is it clear or not? Now further moving on into this particular direction. Then guys, after that, the city section, fine, filled up with the regional news, the COVID-19 cases, that etc that have been there. Now into this particular direction, much important things have not been carried. Now then further moving on, after that we will be reaching to the state section. In the state section, just one article is there, all set for the tiger count at Bandipur Nagarhole. So basically the all India tiger census has been talked about. We'll be seeing certain articles into this particular line. Fine. Then guys, further articles not very much important. Okay. Now here just one reference article is there, which you don't need to go too much into the detail, but just we can use as a case study in our ethics paper. So a brain dead youth in Mysuru to transforms the life of the five people. Is it clear? A brain dead youth's organ has been donated to the needy patients. Now, you know this particular thing that the scientific advancement has happened to such an extent, but still there are certain areas where the science have not reached, and when the organ transplantation is to be carried at many a times, therefore we need a donor. Now guys, in India we are already having the Transplantation of Human Organs Act 1994, under which the transplantation of organs can be done, organ from another person can be taken and can be given. But guys, the people are not coming forward and are not donating the organs. Even when the people have died, fine, their organs are not being donated. There are many reasons for this particular thing. There have been the superstitions, there have been the cultural reasons. Is it clear? But we need to break through from these superstitions and old tradition cultures, and we need to embrace the scientific temperament. And if a dying person can give quality life to 4 or 5 people, nothing can be better than that. This particular thing fulfills the idea of this particular thing fulfills the idea of treating the human as an end in themselves, and on the Kantian ethics, Gandhian ethics, this will be the most desirable thing to be done. So such kind of initiatives needed to be taken by others as well. Fine. This article will be reading in detail also. Then guys, the ground rules of one land of many, will see this particular article talking about the constitutional ideals. Now this particular article talking about India Germany partnership, will see this particular article. Then the wrong remedy. Now guys, this particular article, it is talking about the basically deputation rules for the IAS and IPS that are being changed, the rule 6 of the IAS cadre rules 1954, which is being amended by the government. Now from past 2 days repeatedly, fine, that is on to the 20 and the 21 of the January, we have done the elaborate coverage of this particular article. From past 2 days we are doing, fine, nothing and different has been given into this particular article. Essentially the same thing has been repeated. So if you have not done, please see the yesterday's and day before yesterday's newspaper analysis. Fine, even if you'll see the yesterday, it will do. Then Himalayan question. Fine. So basically the BJP's stake in the Uttarakhand, fine, how basically such kind of things have been provided here. Then today is a Saturday, so on Saturday the ground zero report comes. Now guys, this ground zero report, it is written from the point of view as basically how a particular scandal or a controversy evolved. So basically we have seen that recently there was a person who had developed a kind of a derogatory, basically he had actually uh, developed a particular platform on the internet, okay, and where the women belonging to a particular region were auctioned just like the commodities. Is it clear? So that particular thing has been mentioned, and the details of that case has been mentioned. Now the details of case are not important for our examination. Is it clear? Now guys, the apps, fine, the apps have been developed, and I will suggest you that if you are writing the answer for the UPSC examination, avoid taking direct name of the apps, because the reference in the name that has been used is a derogatory term, which should not be used by you in your examination. Fine. So just a piece of advice, if you want, you can implement it, otherwise it's up to you. Then further moving on, after that guys, that entire issue of political politicization is going on. Pushback to change in IAS cadre rules. Fine. So everyday development, no need to see, already I have explained this particular article. Then further moving on, the political news etc has been given. Fine. Now here there is one more article, UNESCO tag sought for the root bridges. Okay, so this article with respect to the prelims examination, and one very important attachment we will be seeing here, which is important for our UPSC examination. Then further moving on, after that the political news etc have been given here. Fine. Now the Supreme Court notice on environment service cadre. Fine. So this article we'll see with respect to our examination. Fine. The Supreme Court notice on environment service cadre. Then there is one more article, that is Supreme Court seeks reply on suo motu RTI disclosure. So this particular article also happens to be important. Fine. Then other articles, dead men receive second dose in UP, nothing very much important. Fine. Then after that we reach to the world's page. Here Russia and USA, they are seeking to ease Ukraine tension. Yesterday also we have seen briefly that basically the Ukraine has become a proxy ground where a kind of a cold war is being fought by the USA and Russia on both the hands, and this thing is not good. It is impacting the regional stability. Into this particular direction, now both have decided that okay, we will reduce our tensions. Fine. But again, everyday development, everyday statement, counter statement which are being issued, not important. Neither you will be able to keep a track of this thing for entire year. Fine. Please prepare for the themes and not for the day-to-day developments. Okay. The oil giants exit Myanmar over the right violation. Now see, a very strong narrative is developing in the entire world against the Myanmar. Two developments are very disturbing in the Myanmar. Number one, the human right violation, particularly the Rohingyas right violation that is going on. And second issue is the military coup that has happened in the Myanmar last year, because of which the democracy has been tarnished. So because of this particular thing, symbolic gestures many a times are being given. Fine. And now the oil giants, fine, such as the Total Energies and Chevron, they are exiting. Just that's it, not more than this. Then further moving on. Okay, so the corporate trends etc have been mentioned. Fine, nothing very much important into this particular direction. Then guys, the sports page is there, and as today's Saturday is there, the text and the context section of the Hindu, it doesn't comes also, which contains some important articles. Basically the sports page, the elongated version is only there. So this is all about the overview of the articles, and now let's discuss all these articles one by one in the detail. Okay, now as we start with the GS quote every class, which you can use in one of your papers. So today we will be taking a quote from the from the Justice Arjun Kumar Sikri, A.K. Sikri. Now he had given a very impactful quote. Fine, what he says: education took us from thumb impression to signature, and technology has taken us from signature to thumb impression again. So whether the technology is empowering us, or whether the technology is making us more primitive, this is a thought provoking thing which needs to be thought upon. Now see, these particular type of articles, these particular kind of viewpoints become important now, because we have seen that this particular year 2021, the essay paper of UPSC, it was entirely a philosophical based essays were there. And even in GS paper number 4 on the basically on the digital technologies, there was one question that was there. So what is the rule? The education had took us from thumb impression to signature. Education had empowered us, education had make us more rational, but now technologies are taking us from signature to thumb impression. It is not just a kind of a it is just not a kind of a passing by reference, rather it is a very deep thought that are we becoming more primitive on the technology? Are we becoming more are we becoming more dependent? Is the modern man undergoing a kind of a deep crisis into the name of technology? Fine. So such kind of things are needed to be thought upon. That is about this particular thing. Fine. Please keep it in your mind and note it down. Fine. In GS paper number 3 also we can utilize it. And now we'll move to the next, the first article. Okay, so the first article that we will be taking here, guys, what we have done, actually we have clubbed the two articles. Number one, the Supreme Court seeks reply on suo motu RTA disclosure. Supreme Court notice on environment service cadre. Now there are the two types of importance of these two articles. Number one, in itself these articles are important, which we will be covering separately. Second importance is this, that guys, here what we see that one particular trend, find that the Supreme Court is sending the notice to the government on some of the policy matters. On some of the policy matters, the Supreme Court is sending the notice to the government. So here two concepts become important. One is the judicial activism and other is the judicial overreach. So let's understand them. And this particular thing will be important for our GS paper number 2. GS paper number 2, issues related to the judiciary. Is it clear? So let's understand. Now guys, first of all, what do we mean by the judicial activism? Now judicial activism, it is a judicial philosophy according to which again and again or over the times, judiciary interferes into the domain of executive, into the domain of legislature, and advocates certain policies by seeing the social realities, the political realities of time to time, in order to keep the constitutional spirit alive, in order to keep the rule of law alive. The judiciary often interferes and nudges the government to take certain decisions. Now the judicial activism, is it good or is it bad? What is the real thing? Now guys, if we see the judicial activism, the views are actually divided. Some of the political scientists say that judicial activism is a very good thing. Why judicial activism is a good thing? Because many times we find this particular thing, that the popularly elected government, okay, elected government can be many times be driven with the populism, where the vote bank politics becomes more important. They have vested interest. Is it clear? Or even the vested vested interest is not there, populism is not a tendency. In general also, many a times there comes the legislative apathy. Legislative apathy. Now, what is this legislative apathy? Legislative apathy means that there are some pressing problems, but the legislature is just sitting, keeping hand on hand, and not doing anything. So, this legislative apathy is needed to be removed. After that, guys, secondly, there comes many times of issue that the rule of law's spirit is not being followed. Rule of law's spirit is not being followed. Fine, is it clear? Then there are certain times the tough things are there. Fine, there are certain tough decisions that are to be taken, and such tough decisions are usually many times avoided by the legislature. Into this particular thing, where a common man will go, where a common citizen will go, only recourse here is the judiciary, and there the judiciary comes out and issues certain directions, asks the accountability of the government, and this is the judicial activism. So therefore it is something good thing. However, at the same time, it is said that it is bad. Some political scientists believe it is bad. Why it is believed to be bad? Because earlier also I have explained you this thing, that it disturbs the theory of separation of powers which was given by the French philosopher Montesquieu. In the theory of separation of power, judiciary is to be believed to one particular vertical, where the dispensation of the disputes is only to be seen by the judiciary. Moreover, as per the theory of separation of power, the suo motu power of the judiciary, it has been little bit reduced. So there judicial activism is supposed to be bad because it hampers the theory of separation of powers. But guys, in the context of India, if I tell you, judicial activism can be taken as a positive development. Judicial activism can be taken as a positive development. Why? There are certain reasons for this particular thing. Reason number one, guys, that when we talk about India, India has been a welfarist democracy, and in the welfarist democracy, the citizens welfare, citizens regard is the most important thing. And in that capacity, if the judiciary has to be active. Second thing is there, that guys, in India, the preamble promises the justice, preamble promises many other such liberal ideals, and for that thing judiciary has to be active. Third thing, guys, by very design of the constitution, the Supreme Court has been called as the guardian of the fundamental rights, and the Supreme Court being the guardian of the fundamental rights, the Supreme Court being the guarantor of the fundamental right, has to intervene. So by constitutional design also, we have envisaged the active judiciary only. Is it clear? That is one thing. However, one thing is outrightly bad, which is judicial overreach. Now this judicial overreach is something which is outrightly bad. Now what is this judicial overreach? Understand, sometimes judiciary becomes hyperactive. Sometimes judiciary actually forgets that fine balance that is needed to be maintained, and it interferes. For example, I will give you certain references, guys. What happens, few years back, there was a kind of a command which came from the judiciary, according to which before a movie begins in a cinema hall, national anthem is to be played, and everybody has to stand on to that particular national anthem. Now this is an example of judicial overreach. Is it clear? So this judicial overreach, overzealous judiciary, overactive judiciary is bad, but fine judicial activism is needed. So this is a concept that you need to keep it in your mind. And now moving to the next article, where independently we'll be discussing these issues. Okay, now the first one comes, Supreme Court seeks reply on suo motu RTA disclosure. Now this particular topic will be important for our GS paper number 2, fine, governance, right to information, transparency, as well as in GS paper number 4, in the topic number 7, that information sharing and transparency has been mentioned. There this particular article again will be important. Now, what has been the issue? Let's understand first of all. But before going into this, let's see the background. So guys, the background goes like this. Okay, certain things I will tell you here. Please do use in any of the answers where the transparency is being talked about. See, Thomas Jefferson once said that the information is the currency of democracy. Information is the currency of democracy. Information makes a democracy more functional. So information leads to enlightenment. Fine. Information leads to enlightenment. Once enlightenment is there, person makes an inquiry. And once the person makes an inquiry, he gets information and becomes empowerment. So information leads to the information leads to the enlightenment. Enlightenment leads to inquiry. Inquiry leads to empowerment. So the information plays a very important role. Now in India, the law, the principal law which guarantees the information is the RTI Act, Right to Information Act, that got passed in 2005. So now you can take the information as a matter of right. Now guys, within the RTI Act, fine, first of all, some basic things I would like to tell you here, and then we'll be going into this section number 4, what it is. So generally the RTI Act, fine, into this particular act, there is a PIO, that is the Public Information Officer, that is to be appointed in every public body, public organized, public authority. Fine. Now you cannot ask the information under RTI from private authority, only from the public authority you can ask. So PIO needs to be appointed, and the PIO will give you the information. However, if sometimes the PIO is not able to give the information or the request is denied, then the appeal can be made to the Central Information Commission and the State Information Commission also, which acts as a watchdog. Every year 40 lakh to 60 lakh RTA requests are being filed. Now guys, within the RTA Act, there is one particular section, that is a section number 4, which happens to be very important. Now this section number 4, it provided that all the public authorities, public bodies, by suo moto effort, by their own, they need to provide as much information as possible into the public domain. Fine. So as much as information of possible, upload it on your website, put it on the board in your organization. So suo moto information is to be provided. That has been said. Is it clear? Now, but many a times it has been seen that the public authorities, they have not followed this section number 4. It means that by themselves they had not uploaded much of information onto their website. So therefore the Supreme Court has now sent a notice to the government and has asked the replies from the government that please tell us that why you have not uploaded at your own, by suo moto, why you have not uploaded most of the information on the websites, onto the public portals. So this implementation of section number 4 has been very much weak, and by this particular thing we find one more thing also, that actually the law has been there but the spirit of law is not being fulfilled. What was the spirit? Spirit is such that the information is to be shared, but it has not happened. So this is one of a criticism which you can mention if a question comes. Moreover guys, now the 15 years have already been completed in 2020, so this RTI question becomes important. Now on the RTI, certain additional information I would like to share with you, which is not the part of this particular article. So this is something additional information. If you want, you can note it down also, but very important. When we talk about the RTI, guys, there is one particular section in our GS paper number 2, evaluation of government schemes and government policies. So within the evaluation, I would like to tell you about a recent Satark Nagarik Sangathan report that was published, which actually analyzed the performance of the information commissions and the RTI Act. Now it provided that under RTI Act, fine, information commissions are to be established. Is it clear? There will be the information commissions at the level of state and the information commission at the level of center. Now these information commissions, they have to prepare annual report. Every year they have to prepare a report that what has been the performance of the RTA. And this particular report will be then be laid in parliament as well as the legislature. Now according to the Satark Nagarik Sangathan report, it has been said that out of the 29 information commissions, fine, 21 have not published their annual report for 2019-2020. So the working has been very weak. Fine, more than 2.5 lakh appeals are pending in the different commissions. Okay, so appeals are pending. It means that information has not been given up till now. It has been provided that Information Commission of Odisha will not be able to dispose the RTA appeal by 2028. So much time is being taken, and it has been said that out of the 29 information commission, 3 are completely defunct, and Central Information Commission, on an average, if today you file a petition there, it will take 1 year and 11 months to dispose an appeal. So the working of RT has been very tardy. The working of the information commissions has been not very much good. So this is one thing also which you can add into the critical appraisal of a scheme if it comes. So that is all guys about this particular thing. Fine, not just a section 4 one line concept. In comprehensive manner you need to understand these articles, because these are the thematic issues on which the questions could be framed. That is all about it. Now moving to the next article. Okay, Satvik, very helpful. Okay, Satvik, happy that you are liking it. Keep supporting. Thank you. Moving on the next article. So the next article is, guys, again an example of the judicial activism where judiciary is nudging again the government. Now this particular article will be important in GS paper number 2 as well as in GS paper number 3. GS paper number 2, basically all India services related article is there, and GS paper number 3, it can be important for environment and ecology related questions. Now let's understand that first of all what has happened here. So basically, guys, understand this particular thing, that when we talk about the all India services, now already on to the all India services the issue is going on because the center is amending the rule 6 of the all India service cadre rules. Fine, so that is issue already going on. Now the all India services, they have been very much important part in the all India service. The center government appoints, recruits the officials, and then these officials are sent in the state cadres where they work, and then they can come and work into the central deputation also. So all India service is a service which is a pan India, fine, which is common to both the state as well as union. Now guys, when we talk about the all India services, as of now we are having three all India services. We have IAS, we have IPS, and we have Indian Forest Service. Is it clear? Indian Forest Service. So these three all India services are there. Now basically from past there have been the demands that some more all India services are needed to be created, and guys, there have actually been a demand that actually three all India services demand have happened into the past. Number one, there is the all India medical services, all India medical services, which is needed. A cadre of all India medical services, particularly into the time of pandemic, becomes important. And who had latest recommended this all India medical services? 15th Finance Commission has the latest recommended it. Okay, I'm just a bit now telling you the background. We'll just come into this particular article into 1 or 2 minutes, but first background is important. So all India medical services, one which has been recommended by the 15th Finance Commission. Then there is the all India Judicial Service also, which is being asked, and the law commissions repeatedly had asked that all India Judicial Services to be created. And then thirdly, one more all India service, that is the Indian Environment Service. Indian Environment Service. Okay, so who now into this particular article, this Indian Environment Service is being mentioned. Okay, let's understand that what is this Indian Environment Service first of all. So basically the TSR Subramaniam Committee, TSR Subramaniam Committee in 2014 recommended that we need to create the Indian Environment Service, because it is said that there is so much destruction of the environment is happening. Guys, if you remember, just yesterday I had taken one article that now the state governments will be rated that how fastly they are carrying their environmental impact assessment. Okay, and there was a criticism that came yesterday. We have seen that if you are pushing them that very fastly they have to carry the environmental impact assessment, obviously many times the matter will be hushed up, many times matters will be taken very negligently. So basically, in order to see that such kind of things don't happen, environment is not disturbed, okay, we need to have an institutional framework, and therefore the Indian Environment Service is needed. According to the TSR Subramaniam Committee, it provided that there is a need of a necessary institutional framework, and this institutional framework will meet the future ecological demands and ecological imbalances. Is it clear? It will meet the future ecological demand and ecological imbalances. So the Indian Environment Service was to be needed. Now Supreme Court has sent the notice to the government and asked their response that what is the status of this Indian Environment Service. Okay, up till now you have not taken any decision. In 2004 it was recommended. Now basically more than now 8 years have already happened, so nothing has been done. So what is your response? So this is just the notice that has been sent. We will see that what the government says, but guys, till then it can be an important point which you can add in your answers related to the environment and ecology, that on the recommendation of TSR Subramaniam Committee report, all Indian Environment Service is also to be created. So this is one thing that has been provided. Now let's see certain other things which are now relevant for our prelims examination, how to create this all India service. So guys, there is the article number 312 in this direction in our Constitution of India. Article 312 provides that the Rajya Sabha has the power that it can pass a resolution for the creation of All India service, and once the Rajya Sabha will pass a resolution, then the Parliament will actually make All India service. Fine. So Rajya Sabha needs to pass this resolution by the two-thirds of the majority of the members present and voting. Two-thirds of the majority of the members present and voting. Is it clear? So this is something which has been provided here. Fine. So who can make Rajya Sabha passing a resolution by two-thirds of the majority? Okay. And this we can see that it is a usually Rajya Sabha is believed that it has less power, but here the Rajya Sabha has more power than the Lok Sabha. Moving to the next article now. Now, this particular article, UNESCO tag sought for root bridges. Is it clear? So first this particular article, guys, will be important for our could be important for our prelims examination, as well as this particular article could also be important at one particular place with respect to the development. I'll show you how. Clear? Now what this article is talking and in this article will be important in GS paper number 3 as well. Fine. Environment, ecology, conservation. Now what this issue is, basically, guys, see this picture. See this picture. Now in this picture we can see that there is a natural bridge that has been created, okay, and from on which the people can cross. Now this particular bridge has been created by molding the roots of a particular tree, that is the rubber fig tree. So basically, guys, this pertains to the Meghalaya. In the Meghalaya, there has been the centuries old practice that the traditional people, the tribal people, what they do, they actually mold the roots of the rubber fig tree in such a way that it develops into a suspension bridge. Is it clear? And that suspension bridge is used to cross a stream or a river. Is it clear? Now, guys, there is one peculiar quality of a rubber fig tree, that it has aerial roots. Okay, so these are the roots. So they have aerial roots, and these aerial roots can be tied and then they grow in a particular manner, and then this particular bridge will be formed. So this is in the Meghalaya. Now, guys, from so hundreds of years they are being built in the Meghalaya, and now the Meghalaya wants that the UNESCO World Heritage Site status needs to be given to this particular root bridge which is there into the Meghalaya. So they want that the World Heritage Site status needs to be given. Now what is this World Heritage Site? Let's understand. So basically, World Heritage Site, it is a landmark area which a lot of legal protection, and the World Heritage Site, basically it is given under the international convention under the Unesco. Now this particular tag can be given for those places, those sites which have the cultural significance, historical significance, scientific significance, the monuments or the objects of nature also can be given such kind of status. Right now there are 40 World Heritage Sites in India. The 40 World Heritage Sites are there in India. 32 are the cultural sites, 7 are the natural sites, and 1 is the mixed site. It is both the cultural and natural. Guys, recently 2 of the sites of India got entry into the World Heritage Site, that is the Ramappa Temple. Fine, we have discussed it very deliberately. Ramappa Temple, and another is the Dholavira. Okay, so they have got entry. Now if the root bridges of Meghalaya also gets an entry, we will have the 41 sites. Fine, as of now we have 40, and India has the 6th largest number of sites in the world. Fine, this is about the World Heritage Site and this root bridges. Which tree? Fine, rubber fig tree. One thing. Now one important thing, guys, I want to tell you that there was a report that was published. Now this is something which is beyond the scope of this particular article. Okay, so just please be very careful. There was a report that was published in the general scientific basically there is a scientific report, and this particular report had provided this thing that actually these root bridges, they can be considered as a reference point for future botanical architecture projects in the urban context. Now when we talk about the urban areas, within the urban areas we say that a lot of green spaces are needed to be accommodated. Is it clear? And therefore it has been suggested that the Khasi people who are making these root bridges, now these root bridges can be endorsed into the modern architecture. Fine, in the modern architectures, the bridges, the concrete bridges can be replaced by these root bridges. So inclusion of the greenery. Okay, now just one more extra point I wanted to give you here. See, always guys, today we say this thing that our urban cities, okay, they have over concretized. Because of that, urban heat island effect is there, urban flooding is there. A response or a solution comes into the form of a sponge city concept. Sponge city concept has been taken from the China. Wuhan is a sponge city. What is a sponge city? You need to make your cities more green so that basically they are more resilient to the shocks. Now greening up the cities, we need that in the modern architecture. Basically the traditional green architecture can also be endorsed, and into that green architecture in the bridges, these root bridges can be implemented in our cityscapes. So this is something which could be an implication part where you can use it. Fine. So please keep it in your mind. And now moving to the next article. All set for tiger count at Bandipur Nagarhole. Okay, so basically guys, see within the article much of the data that is there not directly important, fine, but what is the theme here? So the theme here is this, that the all India tiger and mega herbivore estimation is now being organized. Fine. All India tiger and mega herbivore estimation is being organized, and as a part of this all India estimation, now the exercise will be carried in Bandipur and the Nagarhole. Fine. The exercise will now be carried into the Bandipur and Nagarhole. Now what is this all India tiger mega herbivore estimation? This becomes important. So basically guys, this is a nationwide enumeration, nationwide calculation. It happens every 4 years. Last year this exercise was happened in 2018. Before that it happened in 2014, then 2010, then 2016. So now basically the all India tiger mega herbivore estimation of 2022 is being organized. Now into this particular thing, the tigers, they will be estimated, and along with the tiger, the mega herbivore. Now who are the mega herbivores? The elephants, the gores, okay, the big animals who eat the green plants. So mega herbivores and the tigers, their estimation is being done, and now it has been carried into the Bandipur and Nagarhole. Now understand this particular thing, that this particular year's enumeration, it will use the M stripes. Now already on the M stripes the question has come into the UPSC, and even see the question on the root bridges have also come onto the UPSC. Now what is this M stripes by which this estimation will be done? So it is actually M stripes, it stands for monitoring system for tigers intensive protection and ecological status. Now this M stripes, it is a software, it is a software based monitoring system, fine, which has been launched in all the tiger reserves. And who had launched it? National Tiger Conservation Authority. It launched it in 2010. Now this is a software system in which what happens, basically the patrolling officials, fine, they will study, they will mark the endangered Bengal tiger. Is it clear? The forest guards, they will be equipped with the digital assistants, the GPS devices. Wherever they see the tiger, they can mark its location with the GPS coordinates onto this M stripes platform. It is a software. The question in the UPSC was very much easy question. Fine, M stripes, it refers to which animal? It is for tiger. That was there. So on the M stripes, by the help of this M stripes platform and by the help of app, the tiger estimation will be done and the herbivore estimation will be done. Now what is the logic of using the app? The app will ensure that the data is digitized as well as it is uploaded onto the real-time basis. So the report will come in a while. Now the estimation has just started. That is all about this particular article. And now moving to the next article. Setting sail for a powerful India-German partnership. Now this article, it pertains to the India-Germany relation and therefore will be important in our GS paper number 2, India's international relations. Fine, international relations, this article will be important. Now first of all, let's understand the context, that why this India-Germany partnership has suddenly come in the news. So recently a German Navy's frigate, now frigate is a warship. So Germany's frigate, it had arrived the India. Okay, and as it has arrived India, so the India-Germany has become important now. Now basically guys, first of all understand this particular thing, that why the Germany's frigate, okay, here we have Germany, here we have India, fine, why it had come to India. See, let's go a little bit beyond this particular article. Right now if we see the Europe, it had got a renewed interest into the Indo-Pacific region. Earlier the France had declared their dedicated Indo-Pacific policy, and much of the European countries which earlier were little bit passive in the Indian Ocean, or they were little bit not that active into the Indo-Pacific. Now they are actively coming into this particular region. France had come out with their full-fledged Indo-Pacific policy. Now the Germany also wants to take a center stage into the Indo-Pacific, and because of that particular thing, now they are coming to the India, because India has been a very important and a strategic player in the Indo-Pacific region. Is it clear? So basically, guys, what had happened, now the Germany had understood this particular thing, that political and economic center of gravity is now shifting to the Indo-Pacific region. Is it clear? Basically, the two of the players, China, India, both are into this particular region. The markets are there into this particular region. The lanes of trade, okay, they are passing from this particular region. So Indo-Pacific is a center of gravity now, and every country wants to be important player here. Now, guys, this particular thing, it is all the development is also a signal to the China. Is it clear? Because, guys, the democracies are on one hand and the China is on another hand. So Germany, India on a democratic ethos, in a democratic collaboration, it is also a signal to the China as well. Now, basically, when we talk about the Europe, I find the trade routes are very important. They should stay open. And as the majority of trade routes are passing from this particular region, maintaining the stability becomes very much important. Now, the freedom of navigation is to be upheld, believed by both India as well as Germany. The disputes needed to be resolved peacefully. The maritime disputes, trade disputes needed to be resolved peacefully, because the democratic country believes in such way only. Fine. Then India is a maritime powerhouse and a strong advocate for the free and inclusive trade. So therefore, India becomes a primary partner for the Germany, and therefore Germany had become interested into the India, that India can help in all these particular things. Fine. Now, further, guys, when we talk about the particular region, now the Indo-Pacific region, it has a lot of potential. Fine, it is the home of 65% of the global population. 20 of the world's 33 mega cities are there into this particular region. 62% of the global GDP is coming from the Indo-Pacific. 46% of the world's merchandise trade, basically, it emerges into this particular region. But at the same time, this region, it is also responsible for half of the global carbon emission. And if the climate change is to be fought, then the cooperation of the Indo-Pacific also becomes very much important. Sustainable energy consumption, sustainable energy production also is very much important theme here. And on this thing also, climate change, sustainable energy, sustainable consumption, on this theme also the countries are collaborating, and therefore Germany is also collaborating with the India. Now, when we talk about the Germany, guys, Germany, more than 20% of the German trade, it is conducted into the Indo-Pacific neighborhood. Here, therefore, Germany needs a strong partner. And who will be the strong partner? India will be the strong partner. That is the importance of Germany, the interest of Germany in the India. Now, guys, one particular thing is needed to be understood very clearly. I told you that a German frigate had visited the India. Now, basically, the same German frigate that has come here, that is the Baren. Now, it has participated into basically the NATO operation. Basically, it has participated on some of the NATO collaborations also. It has basically participated within European Union in some expeditions also. So at many times, this particular frigate has been used in such kind of a collaborations which have a military purpose. Is it clear? So India needs to give a very clear message that, okay, if collaboration and cooperation is good, it is India is interested. But if India is being dragged in some military camp, then India will not be coming into this particular direction. So this is one key message that also needed to be kept in mind as the frigate's visit has been there. Now, basically this year, Germany will hold the G7 presidency, and in December 2020, India will assume the presidency of G20. So Germany being president of G7, India being president of G20, this particular thing also becomes a converging opportunity. Both can converge and both can bring their common interest together. So this is the thing. Now, the brief discussion. G7, group of 7, it is the forum consisting the Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, UK, US. Earlier Russia was also there, and then it used to be called as G8, but now the just Russia has been removed, particularly because of the Ukraine crisis. Now this G7, it is not based on any treaty, and there is no permanent secretariat or permanent office of this particular G7. The presidency, it rotates amongst their members. Clear? And the presidents and the members, they decide the priorities. Then there is a G20. Now the G20, it is Again, the intergovernmental forum comprising the 19 countries and European Union. So 19 countries are there, European Union is there, the 20 are there. So they basically works on the issues related to global economy, international finance, stability, climate change, mitigation, sustainable development, etc. So this is all about this particular article, guys. I hope that you have understood it. Now we'll move to the next article. The ground rules of the one land of many. So basically this article has been written by Shashi Tharoor. The article talks about that India is going to celebrate the 72nd anniversary of constitution of basically of our constitution coming into the force. 72 Republic Day basically is being celebrated. Republic Day is being celebrated. So therefore the key points of or the key ideas which are contained in our constitution has been talked into this particular article. Now basically the way in which these arguments or article or points have been presented, it is a very in fact a good way. You can use them directly in your answers. So basically first it has been said that the idea of modern India, the idea of modern India or the idea of modern nation is based on certain important concepts such as the supremacy of the human rights. Find the idea of citizenship. Okay, now the idea of citizenship, idea of human rights, it has been backed by the due process of law, equality before law, and the due process of law, equality before law. These high ideals have been provided by the constitution. So constitution has directly played an important role in making India as a modern nation. Fine. So this is the first important of constitution. Then secondly, it has been provided that basically the preamble of our constitution, fine, it defines the traits of the Indian Republic. It defines the traits of Indian Republic. The preamble comes out with the concept of justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, and basically all these particular things will be the bedrock of the India. Justice, liberty will be the bedrock of India. Such idea has been provided by the preamble. So preamble is something which has provided the conscience. Preamble is something which provides the soul to the Indian constitution. Something fine. Then next thing that has been provided that every society has an interdependent relationship with the legal systems of that particular country. Now what is the most supreme legal basically legal dictum of our country? Fine. What is the most supreme law of our country? That is the constitution. And the constitution and society has a very deep link. It has been provided through the interplay between the law and the between an interplay between the law and the society. What happens? It society basically it emerges into the people emerge into community, people emerge in community, these community then become societies, these societies then become civilizations, and these civilizations then acquire a sense of national and historical character. So people emerge in community, community emerge in society, society becomes civilization, and civilization acquire national character. So how? Because the law and people's interplay is there. So therefore the laws and the supreme law of the India, that is the constitution, will play an important role. Then the next thing that has been provided, that the establishment of constitutional democracy, fine, in the post-colonial India, it basically involved a free attempt, it also involved an attempt of the free Indians. Fine. Basically Indians earlier were categorized. Many categories were there. Categories on the name of caste were there. Categories on the name of religion were there. Categories on the name of class were there. But what happened once the constitution came, all these categories got dissolved, and one identity to Indians were given. Okay, one identity was given which was common to all. Fine, there was no hierarchy of caste, no hierarchy of gender, no hierarchy of class, and this identity was conferred by birth to everybody. Who gave this identity? Constitution. Fine. So this is one more importance of this but of our constitution. Then the constitution reflected the idea that a nation may incorporate differences on many of these factors: caste difference, creed difference, color difference, culture difference. Fine. But at the same time, the democratic consensus is also there, which we needed to maintain, and only onto the basis of democratic, though differences are there, but only onto the basis of democratic consensus, where everybody's opinion will count, the decisions will be taken. Is it clear? And up till now we have maintained such kind of consensus. Indian nationalism, it is the nationalism of an idea. Now the idea which emerged from the ancient times and up till the modern times, this particular idea had come. The idea has been shared by so many civilizations, by so many of the rulers. Now basically the idea, fine, the idea of Indianness, fine, the idea of Indian nation, it knits all the people, and such idea of Indian as an India as a nation, India as a common entity, India as a accommodating entity, this idea has again been reaffirmed by the constitution. Now, basically, the struggle for Indian independence was not only the struggle from the alien rule. Okay, the struggle that carried, which culminated finally in 1947, it was not just struggle against the Britishers. It was a struggle. Fine, it was a shift away from the administration of law and order, which was centered on imperial despotism. Imperial despotism. Fine. So basically, what is despotism? Despotism, it is a king, okay, he is ruling good but at his own wish. So from imperial despotism we moved to the idea of constitutional morality. Now the idea of constitutional morality means that there is a national commitment that the constitutional means will always be upheld. Fine, the constitutional ideals will always be respected. So today we have moved from imperial despotism to constitutional morality, and this constitutional morality is reaffirmed by the constitution. So as we are going to celebrate the Republic Day, all these ideals are needed to be cherished and they are to be celebrated. Now the way these points have been presented here, it is a very good way you can use these particular things in your answers directly. So that is all about this particular article. Fine. And guys, with this we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. Apart from this, important articles are not there. Please don't go too much into the detail into that Amar Jawan Jyoti article. Fine, not very much relevant. Okay, so that is all about this particular thing. I hope guys that you are understanding it, and please follow the initiative regularly so that you can develop an idea based understanding. Fine, which is very important. So that is all guys for today. Now we will be meeting again on Monday. Okay, so we will be meeting again on Monday at 6:30 a.m. So please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.